Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzma with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in Lauderdale by the Sea. I'd show you my normal pier picture, my live pier picture down the street of the ocean, except it is dark out. It's that time of year, so I guess I can say goodbye to the pier picture unless I can get these reports done a lot earlier, and that's highly unlikely how busy I've been. So anyways, I just want you to take a look at this nice, cool picture of a stream and or I should say a stream, but a little river and some water going by. Actually, this is a place I was at not too long ago. Really enjoyed it. Hope you like it as a background picture here in lieu of my ocean picture of the pier. Anyways, let's move along to what's happening today, and that's absolutely true. Compared to what happened yesterday, things are looking pretty up. You know what, though, if you look at my report yesterday, that's exactly what I said. I said, don't really panic about these. You know, it's a great buying opportunity for some people, but, you know, who the hell was going to sell yesterday at that level? Nobody. Nobody was going to sell. I mean, unless you absolutely had to sell your precious metals, and I probably would have tried to talk you out of it. And any of you that know me and my customers know that I will try to talk you out of selling stuff at certain times, and I had people come in panic, and I've told them to hold on, and they've thanked me later for doing it. Why? Maybe because my guess was a little bit better than theirs at the time. And I'm not saying I have any crystal ball or anything, but you know, new people and people that aren't used to doing silver, and especially silver and gold all the time, get a little bit nervous. And you know, I just say, hey, hang on, relax, relax, hang on. You're in a good place. You know, don't panic because it's down. If you know, get the opportunity to buy, fine. But you know, we're in a bull market, and a bull market doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes they can stretch out for years. Look at the last precious metal bull market. It stretched out for years, but it paid off big dividends in the end. And you know, so don't panic. Things are looking up absolutely, and they are definitely up from where they were yesterday. We'll take a look at spot prices in a little bit, but first I'd like to take a look at an article Peter Schiff did today. And by the way, I'm a big Peter Schiff fan. I donated money to his campaign when he ran for office. I think up in Delaware. This goes back some years ago, but I donated to the guy when he had his political campaign going, and I like what he says. I think he's a smart man and knows a lot of things. And I really liked what he said up here. Peter Schiff, and this is true, folks. There is no vaccine for what ails the economy. Absolutely true. I'm going to go down here. He talks about gold and silver selling off a little bit, and the NASDAQ and the market and stuff, but I'm going to go down here to a comment that he made, and let me see. I hope oh boy, did it stay highlighted? It did not. Hang on. Here it is, right here. The problem is not really the fact that we have a disease, but that we're addicted to the cure. Now, he's been saying that for some time, and what he's talking about, obviously, is the cheap money, low interest rates and cheap money, which was cheap money and all this debt. Now, this is something that we've been talking about for a long time, and this is good for gold and silver. Not so good for the country, not so good for the economy, but good for people that own gold and silver. A good hedge against that. And Peter goes on to say, and so now it's the addiction to the cure that's the real problem, and that's exactly what we got right now. We've got an entire market, stock market, Wall Street, addicted, you know, and probably even the real estate market addicted to low interest rates. You know, and this is not good. This is an artificial. This is the bankers and the feds, and this is them fixing the markets. This is not a free marketplace at all, folks. If any of you think we're living in a real free marketplace right now, we're not. It's totally distorted, and Peter would say the exact same thing, and does. The disease doesn't even matter anymore, because if we get rid of the disease, we're still addicted to the cure. The Fed can't take away the cure without causing even bigger problem than the initial disease and the cure. Well, yeah, withdrawals, major withdrawals, and that's what I've been talking about. Well, what happens when the Fed has to cut off the spigot? What happens when the Fed has to raise interest rates? And that is bound to happen unless the Fed just wants to see its own destruction. And trust me, these people aren't interested in their own destruction. They're not so concerned about our destruction, but they are not interested in their destruction at all. So at some point, they're going to do whatever it takes to save their own asses. And what will that mean? That'll mean raising interest rates, cutting off that spigot. And I'm not quite sure. Maybe stop buying things and let the economy just fall on its ass. I don't know. That would be my assumption. But anyway, Peter goes along here to say, in the initial disease, the cure was meant to cure, but now the problem isn't the disease. Who cares about that? The problem is the cure that was so addicting. Now we've got an even bigger problem than we started with, and that's the problem not going to go away. There's no antidote or vaccine that's going to work for that. We are stuck with that. So Peter seems to think that we are absolutely stuck with low interest rates, and we're absolutely stuck with the Fed buying assets and printing money. But really, I don't know. I guess I would like to ask Peter, and again, he'd probably give me a better answer than I can think of right now. But I'd like to ask Peter, why would the Fed? It would kind of destroying the currency and destroying their integrity and destroying the dollar. How helpful is that to them, really? And don't they have a personal interest not to let that happen? That would be my question. However, I don't have an opportunity to talk to Peter, so if any of you know him, please relay that question to him. But anyways, I am a big fan of Peter, and Peter said, despite the plunge Monday, gold is a safe haven, not from COVID-19, but from the government cure. Absolutely true. This COVID-19 is, everybody has their opinion on it, but is not the devastating man killer that we were promised. There are no zombie walking up and down the streets. I mean, it's not what we were told it was going to be. But the damage of closures and such are worse than, again, here you got what the cure was worse than the disease. The closures and everything was far worse than the COVID itself. So, I mean, that's a good thing along what Peter says here. Anyway, Peter goes along to say it's a safe haven from the monetary and fiscal policies mistakes that were made in relation to COVID. I'll go on a little bit, but it's kind of what we've been talking about for quite some time. And when I've been talking about it for months now, I'm not an original thinker by far. The guys like Peter Schiff have been very influential on me, and the Ron Pauls and a lot of other influential people and smaller writers out there that I like to read. Anyways, let me move along to this. If you don't have this on your website, I recommend that you put it up. It's GATA, Gold Antitrust Action Committee, and they put up some pretty good articles sometimes. Apparently, J.P. Morgan is in negotiations for another penalty with the U.S. government. It sounds really big, but what was interesting about this article is that, hang on one second, they're talking, it's not disturbing that J.P. Morgan gets fined for things. For example, if they screw with the price of gold, which they get caught for doing, and they get fined like $2 billion, chances are they made $4 billion, and or they got $4 billion. They only and they made $2 billion, even paying the fine, and nobody went to jail. So they still made money, and no one went to jail. Well, what was disturbing from, according to this article, about them getting fined on something big is that the fine is about deficiencies in audits. And they also go along to say here that if one wants to read in the same sentence pertaining to any Wall Street bank, but they are particularly frightening when it comes to the largest bank in the United States. Again, why are they paying these fines? Because of deficiencies in audits. Well, that is kind of scary when you are talking about the largest bank in the United States. So interesting article there. That could be a future black swan. Who knows? Again, good for the price of gold, I think, unless JP's figured out a way to corral up the gold and they're going to destroy it in a big fire pit when they go down. I don't know. Sorry, a little crazy there. Long day. Let me move on to what we've been talking about for a while is dollar strength 2. Not dollar strength 2. Dollar strength. As you can see right here, I kind of want to look at this chart overall, December 19th, through most of the course of the year. You can see that the dollar has declined slowly and slowly, and the price of precious metals has kind of done this, has kind of gone up. And again, that's that relationship that I've been talking about with the U.S. dollar. And again, how long will it last? I don't know, but I really think there has been a direct relationship with the U.S. dollar for a long, long, long time. But it seems more pronounced in the last 6 months, almost a year now, than it's ever been. And that's just my opinion. But anyway, I kind of like looking at this dollar index. And again, if you're buying gold and silver, you go back and take a look at the beginning of this year, which is right here. Look what the dollar is. Look at that line. You got some strength. You can also see that During these times, we had ups and downs. When we had ups in the dollars, we had downs in precious metals, for the most part. Not on all these spikes, but for the most part. But if you look at the trend overall, and what I've been telling you, is dollar strength doesn't really look good. The more they have to print this stuff, especially with a Biden win. And not that Trump was any more fiscally conservative as far as what he was spending, but with a Biden win, you're going to see, I think, the dollar even get hammered more over time, because they got to just keep printing more of it. But then again, the president does not control the money printing machine. I keep forgetting that the bankers do. The bankers control this. But I wonder how much that the government controls the bankers. Hey, make a comment down below what your opinion is. I'll be happy to answer it. Anyways, let's move along to precious metals, because I'm really getting tired and my eyes are getting droopy. It's been a long day. I just kicked butt in buying and selling a whole bunch of gold and silver today. Heck of a day. Anyways, had to skip lunch. Missed my breakfast too, damn it. That's why my blood sugar might be a little bit off, although I did get a little snack before I did this. So let's take a look at world spot prices. Aftermarkets are open. I'm going to refresh this real quickly. And just because aftermarkets are open now, and this report's after 6 p.m. Let me take a quick sip of water here. So let's take a look at New York spot prices. Closed at 1875. A little bit stronger than what we were looking at yesterday, but not much. 24.46. Silver up a little bit. But the New York spot prices didn't get hammered as much. Let's take a look at the world spot prices. This is where we see the widest change. For some reason, New York seemed to kind of stay steady with silver and gold with as far as the opening and close, but it's a different time frame. But you can really see the wide divergence in the price scale from yesterday to today with this. Look at the low on the world spot prices at 1861 and the high of 1890. I mean, that's a pretty good spread there. And we still ended up at closing world prices 1878. And again, they're higher on the opening. I'll show you that in a little bit right now, or just a second here. And silver, the same thing, 23.94, 24.51. Not as crazy as a spread there as it has been, but silver can run these crazy dollar swings, $1.50 swings, which, as I was saying earlier, makes new people really nervous when they're buying silver and gold. Again, platinum just chugging along, man. It's hard to get excited or unexcited about platinum because it does everything so slowly. It's like it's like putty, just kind of heated up putty, just slowly dripping. Watching it just move one way or another, whichever way gold is moving overall. So let's take a look at the. Sorry, I don't know what kind of analogy I made there, but platinum has just kind of been. Just following gold more or less, but the swings haven't been as crazy. It's been kind of more of a solid metal, actually, as far as price swings, not that crazy. Let's take a look at aftermarkets right now, and I want to see about the same right now. About an hour later, the aftermarkets are open right now, and you can see that the world spot prices closed about an hour earlier, a little bit more than that. So we're about sitting at the same level. And silver, but not enough time here to really see what kind of differences we may see this evening. Who knows what kind of news might come out or what kind of events may happen that'll cause these prices to change later this evening. And when I talk about prices changing, I'm talking about the aftermarket prices. You see that yellow thing right there? Those could change significantly this evening. And if they do, it would probably be a good indicator of what's going to happen tomorrow. I think generally it is. Again, let's see what happens. My guess is that we're going to see about the same prices. I don't think we're going to see any significant gains. Elections, uncertainty, economic uncertainty, Fed uncertainty, world uncertainty. It's kind of got gold kind of just sitting here waiting to see what happens as well. However, you're in a safe place. I can't see it going down significantly. And if it does again, just buy some more and wait out these lows. Don't feel panicked like you have to sell. That's just my opinion. And by the way, if you do feel panic and you get in a situation anytime soon where you feel like you need to sell your gold or silver, give me a call at 954-493-8811. This is kind of like the don't sell your gold hotline. I don't want to make fun of other hotlines, but which is certainly nothing to make fun of. But I'll be your don't do it hotline. So give me a call when you're thinking to sell, if you see this market get really whacked really hard. I'll be your guy. I'll talk you down off the ledge. I promise. So let's take a look here. Oh, well, I think I got through the dollar and everything. What I thought was going to do prices about the same, maybe a little bit higher tomorrow. Again, $10 or something like that. Silver, who knows? It'll just follow gold, but a more crazier tone. But I like all the metals still. I think there's still good buys even as they're going up. So let's talk about that later, though. Best buys out there all over the country, I believe, is U.S. 90% silver. It can be purchased from myself anywhere. Again, I'm talking about large quantities when I give you the low spread, and high and really small quantities when I'm giving you the higher spread here. In big numbers, you can buy 90% as cheap from me as 75 cents over the price of spot per ounce. In smaller quantities, I mean really small quantities, as small as a dime, you can pay as cheap as, excuse me one second, $1.50 over a spot. And there is no sales tax, even under $500 in the state of Florida. Even if you don't live near me, because I only deal locally, folks, ask your local coin dealer for 90% silver, cheapest buy out there. And most states don't have sales tax on 90%, but some of you aren't as lucky as Florida. Let's move along to gold prices, not gold prices, gold coins. Per grand, still the damn best deal out there overall. Though there seems to be a little delay in shipping coming in, new orders coming in into the country, and new shipments. So there has been some delay in crude grand shipments. However, it's available. The stuff is being shipped by reliable, it's being shipped by the South Africans, and it's being shipped by reliable resellers. So the stuff is out there, it's coming in, and it still is the best deal out there. So if your dealer doesn't have crude grands, and you trust your local dealer, which you should, if he's been there for 10 or 20 years, got a good reputation, and in the same location or thereabouts, I wouldn't be uncomfortable with leaving money for him if he doesn't have them in to lock them in. So I recommend crude grands. After that, if there are no crude grands and you want to kind of cash and carry, seems like maples seem to be the next best deal right there. They're running about $10 more per ounce than crude grands. And again, I don't think I gave you the spread on crude grands because you know what? I do apologize. I forgot. But they are a great deal. If you don't live near me and you can't buy from me, unfortunately, go to your local dealer. I recommend go to your local dealer. Keep your money in town. I always recommend that. Your local dealer spends it locally, even if he gets a couple bucks per ounce. I mean, if you're buying 10 ounces of maples or 10 ounces of gold coins, and he's a buck or two more per ounce, just buy it from him, man. He's going to go out and buy something locally from somebody that's going to spend the money in your community. So I always recommend buy local, don't buy online. However, if you're stuck with buying online, I don't mean that in a bad way, but if you don't live in an area where you can get to a local coin dealer, where all your local coin dealers are thieves, which is highly doubtful. But there are some bad ones out there, so be careful. And don't hesitate to call me for a good reference because I've been in the business a long time. But my recommendation is buy online if you need to. If you really need to, there's some big resellers and their prices are generally fair. But I generally a big guy on recommending on buying local for many good reasons because you live local and keep that money in your town. Anyway, this is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in Lauderdale by the Sea. Appreciate you watching my shows. Make sure that you hit that like button up there and ring that bell as well. That helps me. You see my little cursor circling here. What I'm pointing is the one up in the corner there. But that helps me let you know that people are watching, and it helps. I feel like I'm getting something done and I'm accomplishing something and I'm helping people. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great evening. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Meanwhile, get a good night's rest. Relax. Everything's going to be okay. Good night.